second team to qualify.
Secure their spot.
Milky Way gets the qualification
taking on the
just
Splat
like
World
that.
Series.
And
Yeah.
Crickets is looking at qualification.
What's poppin', y'all? Welcome back to Global Gauntlet Rewound, where we turn back the clock and take a look on some unstreamed sets from last week's Global Gauntlet. I'm Frostix, and on my left is Topic.
Yeah, I'm so glad to be here alongside a good friend of mine, and we have two very exciting teams for you. We have Crickets from the West, and we have Always here from the East. And now let's get a little bit into these two teams. Now, Crickets is composed of Kiki, Mino, Silver, and Jay. Now, if you're familiar with the Western scene, then these names not that unfamiliar to you. You know, Kiki and Silver, they are from EZMD, but EZMD has split into two separate teams who have both qualified for this event, so they're both have really strong performances here. Jay has been in here before with a different team, also known as New Meta, and Mino also qualified alongside PXG, but this is their first finals event. So all around, really strong teams, really good representation for the Western side. But their opponent is going to be very strong. And Frostix, why don't we talk about him for a little bit?
Exactly here. Goyame, Hitatsuruko, Streamer Senna, and Suemaru are the members of Always here. We've seen Goyame, Hitatsuruko, and Streamer Senna in the past Global Gauntlets, but they've also now picked up Hitatsuruko, and I just gotta say, really excited to see Streamer Senna here, an 11-year-old prodigy on the roller, accompanied with the highest X-Power leader in the world, that's Goyame. Really excited to see what Always here has in store.
Yep, indeed. And of course, both these teams are ready to go into a very competitive set. And as you know, here at Global Gauntlet, both these teams get to ban two stages. At first, we're going to see that the Japan side will ban both Lemuria and Inkblock. Crickets now are going to decide what their bans are going to be, both being Eeltail and as the selection comes in, you know, Crab Capital. I mean, that those two maps make sense. You know, Always here, you look at Goyame, a very strong leader. Both maps that they banned were very strong E-leader maps. Now this one may not be the strongest Miss Neat Metalworks, but it is still a very good map for Goyame. And if you are Cricket, you gotta be at least a little bit worried about that.
Definitely so. I think if you're Jay specifically on Crickets, you're going to find a way to work around the sightlines here. And that's Jay on the pencil. And we're also seeing Sueru specifically on the 96 here. They're bringing Gal into the fold.
Yeah, and I'm really excited for this matchup of Goyame versus Jay. Both these weapons are going to be very crucial in getting those positions and getting in those spots for allowing their team to get in. Right off the bat, not a whole lot of neutral here. Both the teams just waiting and biding their time. I think the biggest help is going to be for Always here, at least at the first. You see Senna on the flank with a nice pick there, getting a nice one as well for 2J. Make sure you shut that down, but a lot of damage has been done. But thankful for that cooler, not a whole lot will be lost from Crickets until that back comes out to push them back.
Yes, I think Silver was eager to go in, but I think they stepped a little too far with their Zipcaster. I'm hearing some strikes come out. A splashdown comes out from Kiki here, able to get rid of Hitatsuruko. We're seeing the bucket able to get rid of Goyame here. That's a third. Can they go for 4? That is the wipeout thanks to the buckets on Cricket, and immediately Cricket will use this opportunity to push in and just get rid of more potential space that Always here could easily take advantage of.
I mean, yeah, if your Crickets, your biggest threat is going to be that back plus roller. If those two weapons get going at the same time, there's not a whole lot you can do about it. You're gonna see here as Cricket's just dancing around the plat as much as possible. Nice one down. Cooler's not gonna be there. Vac's not gonna be there as well, at least for now. Senna though is just waiting and biding their time with a nice pick on ball. They are going to get shut down. Goyame, the last member remaining with any chance of getting towards that zone. Nice pick there to try to at least get their team a little bit of momentum in their favor, but the zone is still ticking. Time is still coming off that clock. Silver being a lot of distraction, but Senna says, get out of here, and Always Here will break through that really solid hold from Crickets and managed to get into the zone, but Kiki is still there. They have that splashdown. You have to be a little bit careful because they are the last member remaining, the last line of defense. The splashdown in the zone, able to at least neutralize it for now. Lots of damage, but no picks. Great job by Always Here by coming smartly at that blaster, not just kind of running forward at it. And you see right there, that just allowed them to kind of go off of that to get that wipeout.
Yes, and now we're already seeing the rest of Always Here flood in. They do suffer at least one member down, but they're trying to hold the space very effectively here, blocking off potential entryways. We're seeing Suemeru as well as Hisatsuruko now backing off, especially now that Suemeru has gone down. Goyame is heavily on the scope. We've known this. And now time is running short here. They're in the single digits here. The lead has been taken, and there's no one from Crickets that were there to get this zone flip. That's game one, going to Always Here after a very thrilling turn of hands.
I mean, yeah, I think it all started with that triple that Always Here got onto Crickets. And I think this map in particular really did show off the strength of Goyame in that leader for just putting up so much pressure. You see, at the beginning of the game, it was very even. It was very back and forth. Bunch of picks going down in zone, out of zone. Senna going down as well. Just kind of allowed Crickets to get forward here. And you see that they're managing to get a lot out of it. But all it took was one nice triple kill there from Always Here to get them back into that zone. And once you're in this spot against a really talented leader, it's not a whole lot you can do there.
It's not just the leader, I'd argue as well. I think Mincemeat just plays really well with AoE weapons here. We saw the roller from Senna, as well as the Tri-Slasher from Hisatsuruko on Always Here, but also gotta give a shout out to Kiki on the Custom Blaster, as well as Mino on the Slosher on Crickets here. I think those four weapons, they play really well. They're able to work around the ledges, both on top and on below, and they're good for the holes as well because of just how much ledges there were, I think, on Mincemeat. That's game one going to, we're going to game two now.
Yeah, and now if you are Crickets, I think you showed a lot of fight. You showed a lot of poise there. It is very unfortunate that in a game like this, where one mistake can lead to a game loss, that unfortunately, after a couple of picks didn't quite go your way, it's just the snowball just kept on rolling. Unfortunately, you were not able to get out of the way in time, and you see that Always Here trying to once again use their map's advantage here, trying to get a map that's very favorable to that leader, to those kind of AoE-ish weapons as opposed to Robo Ramen. I think this will be very strong again for them because you have that little underside, the track area below, which is very strong, especially if they decide to keep Senna on that roller, because those walls are painful here. You can go anywhere that you see. And from Nino from Crickets, the Dread horns with Crab, I like the setup on glass here. You're basically good to go. But other than that, no other changes with both these teams. They like what they saw from the first game. They're sticking with it.
If anything, though, Mino's switch to the Horns Dread, it needs to probably have a lot of more hunkering down from the rest of Crickets. And I think that they are doing. They're ensuring that they have a lot of solid space. They do go two members down, and now here comes a vac from Suemeru, and the rest of Crickets are backing up here. And all of their cover fire are being sucked up, and they're forced into a corner like Mino is here. They go down. There's two members down, and there's a lot of space immediately taken. That's a third, maybe a fourth as well if Jay goes down. That's the lead. And just look at how much of Court and Elbow is yellow right now, Topic.
I mean, yeah, you saw always here. They had that opportunity with that back plus Senna. They got in, they took advantage of it, and now they're reaping the benefits of what they sow as they're able to get down to 50 points for Nido. Silver does manage to break the lines, but Sasuruko is gonna be there, just causing a lot of damage, destroying that crab, and just making it a lot harder for Crickets to get back in here. But you see, even after all that, just chaos and destruction, it's only gonna be Silver left on the street, not for a long. Kiki though able to get a very, very nice pick there, but time is running short. You have to make a good play now, but it's just Kiki in the zone, and the splashdown is not able to capture it. Unfortunately, they are going to go down, and always here. Very, very dominant. You saw at the very beginning of the game, Crickets, they did have control of the zone for a little bit here with help from Mino's Crab, kind of providing that suppressing fire onto Goyame. But unfortunately, like kind of deja vu from game number one, it took one opportunity, it took one good push, and always here, they took it, they ran with it, and they did not look back.
Just a lot of solid back-to-back explosive plays there. That's a double from Senna and the splashdown cancel from Goyame that you saw on the replay here. And I said earlier, I think before the set happened, was that the switch to the Horns Dread, of course, requires you to have a lot of solid, really solid kind of hot zones there. That way you can just pop the crab. But then when you have all of Always here just taking space here, when you have the 96 in your face, when you have the try in your face, when you have the roller in your face, and when you have the leader staring you down from the back lines here, it's really hard for you to try and pop that crab here. And then at that point here, Always here, they didn't even need to hold their elbow. They backed up a little, and even still, they didn't let the zone flip once.
Yeah, and I think that's very, very strong from Always here is they backed up without giving unnecessary space. They backed up to safety without having to just give all of mid or all of the advantage that they took. And it worked out really, really well in their favor. And now if you're Crickets, right, you had a very, very close game number one. And then game number two, unfortunately, didn't quite go your way. Now as we go to game number three, this is going to be a kind of pivotal, if one could say, because if you don't really want to go that, you don't really want to go 3-0, but Bluefin Depot, you know, for a certain community, this is a very, very, very fun map, and I think it could be a very, very interesting one indeed. If you are not that familiar with Bluefin zones, this is not that regularly played, especially in the Western scene. The zone in the middle does move from the left to the right, leaving a big chasm where it once was. So both these teams are they have to take advantage of both sides of mid, both sides, and then try to go for the zone. Because if you only go for one, the zones are gonna go the other way and leave you in the dust.
And we're seeing Mino once again on a Horns Dread Ringer, and I really hope that Mino could potentially capitalize off those hot zones, of those key choke points here, because a crab on hold is deadly, and Senna is immediately neutralized by Kiki, who is having Goyame in their sights. That's the first cap by Crickets, as the rest of Always here are starting to regroup, starting to accumulate their specials. And speaking of specials, if you see on your top left, here comes the crab from Mino firing away on the choke points. Kiki has gone out, but there's two members down. Let's take onto Suemeru as well. Silver, that was a direct. And just down and stalling them out.
I mean, yeah, getting that back down was very, very big here. Now Cricket's getting a lot more points. Kiki's gonna get one. Kiki's gonna get two. Senna did drop the bubble to at least give a little bit of space for the bag, but it's not gonna matter. So everyone straight in and diving and getting a nice trade as well. And now Cricket, it's like a switch has flipped. They have not let Always here into mid at all. They've been stuck on their plat. They've been trying and trying. Jay doing a great job of holding down the fort. Sumeru just were not able to get anywhere. Senna's gonna get to the zone finally, but before you know it, that's gonna be down to 3 points. They managed to neutralize it, but for how long? Kiki with another nice direct, and Cricket turning the tides a little bit with 100-0 on Always here. What a turnaround for that team. You got to be very excited about that. Yes, it's a little bit unconventional, but they had a game plan, they executed, and that's what got them the win.
If anything, they were just waiting for the members of Always Here to fall into a trap of sorts here, because they're all the drops here when you're on the retake are practically one ways, and then when you have really deadly weapons here, you have the custom blaster, you have the stamper, you have the dread ringer, and you have this pencil. They're all chipping away at you, and they can also just finish you off immediately. So you need to be really calculated with your pushes here. And then I think what I noticed from Always Here is that they were staggering a lot, and I think Crickets were very keen to ensure that they were always staggering them out, and I think that's their key. I think that was their key to taking game 3.
Yeah, and I think for this map in particular, it's very, it's hard to drop because yes, you are at a height advantage, but where the zone is and where the enemy team can get set up, especially on either side. We saw at the beginning of the game there, Kiki, they went to the right-hand side. They got a lot of chip damage off. They forced Goyame over to the left, and that all kind of resulted in the team getting collapsed on and the team just going down really, really quickly here, and it kind of allowed Crickets to get a very, very nice win here. But now here we are to game number 4. This may be a turn of fate for Crickets, but Always Here has their stage, a classic in Splatoon 3 comp, Barnacle and Dime. And when I see this map, I think that roller plus that combo, which they've used to really a high level in the last couple of games, is going to be even more deadly here.
Definitely so. If Crickets wants to keep this set alive, they need to ensure that momentum is on their side here. Mino still sticking with the Horns Dread. They haven't been on bucket since it was game 1, and already both teams are off. And who is painting the spawn Always Here? I think that's Hisatsuruko trying to get some coolers online. Already 2 members of Crickets go down, and unfortunately the tempo and the momentum is not on their side. Between Mino and I think Kiki, they're losing so much space. Hisatsuruko able to get rid of Kiki before going down to Jay, but just so much space in mid has been taken by Always Here, and Senna's in position.
Yeah, they don't even want mid, they want the core, which they're able to get really easy. Hisatsuruko getting a nice one, forcing Jay to jump out, and you see they're doing a great job of just making sure that they cannot get to their sniper. They cannot leave spawn, basically send them with a nice pick as well, even though they are going to go 2 down. They're staying up. They're keeping on that pressure for the rest of the team to jump in, for the rest of the team to get something going here. Hisatsuruko is going to be forced to at least hide for a second. They are going to go down, and we're going to see if Crickets can kind of get back in. They have man advantage. They have the space. Can they get the zone? They are able to. Silver, though, going a little bit deeper, getting a nice pick there, and not quite making the second one, but giving their team enough time to get onto the plat and to get space going.
Definitely so. There's the trade from Silver onto Hisatsuruko. That's no cooler for Always Here, and that's pretty big on them. Unfortunately, Mino is going to get popped right then and there by Goyame. And Kiki, they're trying to survive right now. They've landed a direct on, not a direct, but an indirect onto Senna here. Hisatsuruko has been taken down by Jay, and I think the rest of Crickets are now trying to regroup here. There's a lot of penalty to clear, but you want to ensure that momentum and the tempo is in your favor, because this back is now allowing Senna to move in. The zone has been recapped in yellow, and there are 2 members down on Crickets, and Senna, once again, is charging forward here. They're jumping back just to get this. They are in the lead right now.
Yeah, they're in the lead, not looking to give it up anytime soon here. Senna is going to go right back into the court, getting to it. Just gonna be Kiki who is going to go down here. If you're Crickets, you have to just run at the zone, but Senna's gonna kind of put the clamps onto that. 9 ticks remaining. Hisatsuruko jumps in as well to kind of clean up the mess, and that is going to be it. Always Here after a kind of a shock for game number 3, getting 100. They bounced back in a very strong way. I think after that first loss of about, I would say about 30 points of the zone, they just held it, they pushed forward, and they did not look back. And you see right here, that's the result of it. They just kept up the pressure, they kept up the fight into the court, and it worked out in their favor.
You do not want to be above a ledge when you have a deadly roller player like Senna. Not even just Senna, but Hisatsuruko as well. You said it earlier, cleaning up the mess here. Always the Robin to Batman, in this case, the 11-year-old Senna. So now, I mean, I think I really wanted to highlight this. Senna pops the bubble here. They do go down, but you can never underestimate the beacon on Big Bubbler as Tatsunoko jumps in, gets those last 2 picks to ensure that no one from Crickets is going to be able to sweep up and get another retake. That is the set win for Always here.
I mean, yeah, like like Frostic said, it was just a very, very strong game, especially at the end. That bubble plus beacon just kind of sealed the deal for Always here. Not a whole lot to say. Crickets did put up a good fight, but unfortunately, just wasn't enough. So Always here is going to take the set 3-1 with a looking very, very strong the entire time.
Yes, exactly. And this isn't the only Global Gauntlet Rewound video in stock. There is an entire playlist chock full of more Global Gauntlets. So grab some popcorn, grab some drinks. There's going to be a whole lot more Global Gauntlet Rewound soon.